Hey, my Padawans. Happy Monday morning. I'm watching the San Diego Comic Con panel with George Lucas. He was here on Sunday, and I just want to comment on his appearance. The news is making a big deal. It's the first time George Lucas comes to San Diego Comic Con International. And yeah, it's true, he never been here before. So I'm watching this panel, and I'm going to leave a link in the description because I don't want to get a copyright strike. I wasn't there. I didn't shoot video. I'm just showing you this picture where he's at Comic Con, and you see the museum here. That's what it's going to look like. The museum sort of looks like a Naboo spaceship, like the Padme Royal Starship. It's really cool. He's over here in the panel with Duke Chang. He's the artist for episode 1. He did a lot of work for episode 2 and episode 3, and he's over here with Guillermo del Toro and Queen Latifah. Really annoying. Not really a fan of Queen Latifah. So this museum, he's been working on this for like 10 years with his wife. And it's in LA. It's somewhere in South LA, and it's pretty large. And I think the idea is that it's a nonprofit, and he's going to take his art collection and a lot of the Star Wars art from Duke Chang and a lot of storyboards. And I think he's just going to take a lot of his artwork and his storyboards and his narrative art. They're calling it narrative art. And I think he's just going to display everything at this museum. And it also looks like it's going to be more than a museum. It has like a landscape, like grass. It's probably going to have a restaurant, a store. Like any museum. A visitor center. You got to buy a ticket. I wonder how much the ticket is going to be. It's like $100 or anything. It's like. Because these museums are getting out of hand, especially over here in San Diego, the Balboa Park. You can't get in free anymore into a lot of these history, museum of art, stuff like that. Museums are business now. But I want to go to this. I'm excited. Now, to me, it was not a big deal that he came to Comic Con for the first time. Because I've seen George Lucas. I met him in Florida at the Star Wars celebrations. He always goes to Star Wars celebrations. But this is the first time that he comes to Comic-Con. Why would he come to Comic-Con, right? It's just about comics and superheroes, and he doesn't do any of that. So he goes to Star Wars conventions. So I waited in line to see him in Florida, and I was at the audience where he did an interview on stage with Stephen Colbert, and he got interviewed, and I was on stage. It was a great time. I have a video somewhere about it in my old computer, and we all waved the lightsaber, and I saw George Lucas. I was sitting right there. And then I also saw Lucas at the Disneyland show, the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular, and I also saw him in Star Tours. So already, he doesn't give autographs. I'm sure that he went to Comic-Con and he didn't give an autograph to anybody. If he did, I would be surprised. And I know he doesn't do selfies. And he's wearing the typical, checkered shirt, He's always dressed up as like a country guy with jeans and these, old school shirts, like from the 50s, The guy always dresses up the same. It's kind of funny. Like a lumberjack, sort of like a lumberjack sort of look. I got some shirts like that, like checkered, squares, stuff like that. It's kind of funny because this guy is like a billionaire. He dresses like he's like poor, But it's cool though. Anyway, so he's over here talking about his artwork. he says he'd rather display these pieces than sell them for money, and I agree. It belongs in the museum. It's Indiana Jones. So I was talking about the museum, and I know that George Lucas loves museums. Him and Steven Spielberg, used to go to the UCLA, and they were always interested in visiting the museums and mythology and history and all that stuff. So I think that's what he's trying to do. I don't think this is just about Star Wars. I think it's more than Star Wars. I think they're going to have other work. I think they mentioned something about heavy metal magazines, Peanuts, and other artists. Norman Rockwell or something like that. I don't know exactly what they're going to have in the museum. They're building it right now. It's going to open in 2026, probably summer of 2026. So that's about it. I know you probably guys heard about it. Sorry, I'm not showing any video because I did not. I don't want to use somebody else's video because the panel. I think the panel is like 50 minutes. 44 minutes, and I'm not gonna post the entire video because it's not mine. It doesn't belong to me. But I do want to comment on it, and I know you can hear a little bit of it. So, are you guys interested in this museum? Do you guys like artwork? Would you guys pay to go, to come to LA and check out this museum? It's exciting. I know nobody cares about this stuff anymore. I know museums are not like, the number one, tourist attraction anymore. Sort of like libraries. Nobody goes to libraries anymore. But George Lucas is old school, and it's exciting. I think for kids, this is really exciting. You go into the spaceship. Basically, it's a spaceship, and you go in there, and and you walk around, and you have a great time looking at all this artwork. Now, I don't know who's gonna be the curator, or who's gonna pick the artwork, or I don't know how it's gonna work. But I know that George Lucas and his wife. I know his wife is doing a lot of the work. So, anyway, let me know what you think. See you guys soon. Subscribe and like, and may the force be with you. Bye.